Hi everyone. So I'm going to create my assignment 2.2, right? Let me switch to the first thing I'm going to do is to show how to connect to database and how to select a specific database in in this management studio, right? So for us to be able to connect to database, we just need to use the connection icon, right? Um, so we already have the server name. You can use any of the authentication and select your database name from the option and can easily connect, right? Just going to exit this because I've already connected. So we have the database engine, right? Just going to use this connection also. So which is basically the same thing. You can browse. For example, you can browse your local environment and select the particular server that you are connecting to, right? That's it about that. For us to be able to select a particular database, right, we just need to use this graphical user, graphic GUI, graphical user interface, right? Can go ahead and select the drop down and select your database. So we already have some system database that come with the studio management, right? So here are some of the database I've created. I have the Abisamo, the ECIT 143, and the new database, right? All right. So another thing I'm going to show is to how to execute SQL command, and I'm going to describe Object Explorer. So also creating a table in SQL. So there are different ways of creating tables in SQL, right? So for example, let's say in this new database, I'm going to create a new table. I can right click, right? Click on it and create a table, right? So that means I'm using the GUI to create this table, right? It's just going to take some time to load. I'm using GUI to create this table, but I can also use SQL command to do all of that. So right here, I can provide my column name and all of that right here. So going to X this. So let's create a new table in the new database, right? That I created. So I'm just going to copy this, Control C. I'm going to create a new table in my new database, right? So I'm going to use a new query, right? So I'm going to rename this. Let me name this create customer table, right? Okay. Just going to create this and I'll run, right? So I'm just going to execute this. As I've seen, I'm able to execute this with no error, right? So let me refresh so that we can see the table that has been created, right? The screen is going to refresh and we can see the table that has been created in the studio, in the management SQL Server management studio, right? So other part of what I'll be showing is Object Explorer. So this is what is a Object Explorer, right? So what we are basically seeing here is Object Explorer. This is where all of the objects in database are stored. We can easily manage uh, database objects from this Object Explorer, whether it's view, whether it's the database itself, or whether it's query, right? So we can easily manage that from here. Okay. So and I'm also going to show how to select the one top 1,000 rows from a table, right? and also generate the create script for a table. Okay, so as you can see now, I have the table I just created, right? I can drop down, see the columns, right? I can easily see the columns that are created in the table. So how do we select 1000 rows from the system, from the table, right? You can easily right click and select top 1000 rows, and the system is going to do that by generating a query that you can easily use to create that. It's just going to take some time to load. All right. So this is the query to generate top 1000 rows. So because our our database does not have any query yet, any data in it yet, that's the reason why we cannot see anything in the display. So I'm just also going to show how we can easily take out errors, right? Errors from the table, from the how we can easily take out errors from the query editor, right? So what we can do is to use IntelliSense, right? So we can easily go to edit, IntelliSense, and refresh local cache, right? So that way we can easily take out errors. So as you can see now, the errors as it's not showing anymore, right? And we can easily run our table and get our results. Okay. Okay. So next part I'm going to show, right, is to display the estimated execution plan, display an actual execution plan, right? And also I will show how we can easily filter a particular database, uh, filter for tables, right? Okay, and also how to comment out codes. Okay, so I'm just going to show that real quick. So for example, we may want to comment out these lines of code. So what we can easily do right here is after highlighting the portion or the part where we want to comment out, you can easily use the graphical user interface and comment it out. So this way, this is has been commented out. Okay. And also, how do we filter, right? How do we filter tables? Okay, so I'm just going to filter this table. What we do is to right click on the table object and go to filter and set filter. Put filters in, so we can easily set the filter, right, by whether it's a name, whether it contains a particular keyword, or whether who is the owner is another one. We can easily input the value of the filter right here in the interface. All right. Moving on. So display estimated execution plan and the actual execution plan. Right. I'm going to show that with the ECIT 12143 database that has been created during the course of my uh, learning. Right. Okay. So I'm going to select the EC. Okay. Now, so so this is the EC2, right? So how do we check for the estimated plan, right? So right here we have the display estimated execution plan uh, button, right? So I will just go ahead and click on it, and we can easily see the execution plan, right? Right here. So we can easily see. the execution plan, right? And also, if we want to see the actual execution plan, we also use this button to get that as well. So once we click this, we can also easily get the actual execution plan. Okay, let me draw this bar up so that we can easily see what I'm talking about. So this is the the actual execution plan, right? And we can use this to see the estimated execution plan. Okay, so that's just it for that. And I will also show, okay, I've talked about the filter, how we filter tables. Okay, so how we create script, right, for our database, right? Okay, so how we can generate, so I'm going to use the new database that I've created. Go ahead to use this. So how do we create? So what we do is to highlight, click on the database itself, click on the database itself, right click on it, and we go to script table as create to. So I'm going to do that into a new query editor window, right? So it's running already, and we can easily export our script and see the output. So it's just going to take some time. It's in progress, right? So the server management studio is pretty easy to manage database. Once you are connected to the server, you can easily create your database, manipulate your database, and retrieve all of the information that you you need to retrieve. And the good thing is, through the interface, the GUI, you can easily navigate, do all of those things that you need script for. And even though it is faster, pretty faster, and easier to use script to generate most of this to 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 interact with our database, right? It's just going to take some time. So while we wait for this, I'm also going to show some of my other learning resources that I've been able to explore, right? So one of them is server, this SQL Server Management Studio feature demonstration by Database Star, right? I was able to explore and learn uh, the graphical user interface for the SSMS, right? Some of the things I can easily do, some of the features that are pretty much available and easier to use and navigate. So, for example, get to know how I can easily export all of get my results of the code
What
or
if
the
your
script
British degree could start
that has
right
been
now?
written in
Click results to
text
and
and
either
code.
text, grid, or file. Or you can click on any of these three buttons on the toolbar here. The current method is highlighted, which should be grid, but you can change it. We can change it to text. We can
Also, SQL tutorial, right? Future demonstration. So this is more like advanced uh, tips to navigate the graphical user interface. So this has really helped me, and I'm really learning fast, right? So that's it. Thank you.